Hello everybody, it's Claire back with another art journal video. I'm just laughing to myself because this is the third time I've tried to record this intro. Not doing very well. So this is the Jane Davenport watercolour journal. It's beautiful. As you can see, this is the first time I've used it. So I'm going straight in. I'm going to draw a face on the first page. I'm going to be using the Jane Davenport layer cakes, which are like a cross between watercolour and gouache. To add my colour. So I'm using the technique that I share on my class on my website called Let's Face It, where I'm just teaching you like the basic way of drawing a face and how to map it out. I am not an expert and my faces often have a similar look, but you know, like I say, I am not an expert at this at all, but I kind of share with you in that class how I go about drawing faces. It's definitely something that gets easier the more you practice, and you get less worried about if they come out a bit quirky. It doesn't really matter. So I'm going to give her really lovely flowy hair, nice and easy to do. Just imagine that the hair is coming from the back of the hairline behind the neck, so it's going to come right down to the bottom of the head. And yeah, I've just mapped that all out. Then this is the License to Quill pen from Jane Davenport, which is lovely. It's permanent when it's dry. You can also, if you scribble a bit onto the glass mat or your surface, you can use a watercolour brush and pick it up like a watercolour, and you can add shadows with it, which create, you know, they're permanent then, so then you can work over the top. So I do really like this pen, it's lovely. So I'm now drawing in these features, and then I am going to go in and add some colour over the top. So I'm drawing them in so that I don't kind of lose them, and I just think it's a nice way to kind of get those features on your page in a way that you can see where they are. There we go, just mapping out the hair. Now obviously I'm going to be adding colour, so these lines are going to get dulled back a bit, but we can go back in and add them again afterwards. Yeah, so it's a nice and easy way to do this. Okay, so now I'm going to be thinking in a second about getting some shadows onto my face just to bring a bit of depth and make it less flat. So what I'm going to do there is scribble the pen onto my glass mat using a paintbrush dipped in water. I can pick up that watery pigment then and pull it onto the page and create some really nice shadows. But it's softer than the black that comes out of the pen. And the more water you add, the lighter it goes, obviously. So yeah, it's a really versatile tool to have in your kit. You can find them on Amazon or anywhere that kind of stocks Jane Davenport's goodies. And then I'm going to do the same. I want a bit more there, so I want to pop some on the hairline, particularly at the bottom where it's going to be darker, just to help create a bit more depth on that face. And then when I layer my colours over again, that's going to show through, and it's going to just create a bit more depth for us. So then these are the paints from Jane Davenport. You can see these are the layer cakes. I'm just going to pull those over the top, and the shadows are going to help a little bit to create a bit more depth. There's palettes that come with lots of different skin tones on, so you can kind of even mix and make your own if you want. And I think skin tones, it's quite a tricky one, isn't it? I try to vary them a little bit, but just don't overthink it when you're going in with your colour. Just try and think about your light places and your dark places and where the light is going to catch on your face. But actually, you know, it's one of those things that the more you practice, the easier it gets. And I am by no way an expert in doing this, but I think just, you know, learn to have fun with it. And be prepared that you might create some faces that you think, eeh, that's slightly terrifying. Well, that's okay too. It's all right. It's all part of the learning process. So now I'm going in with kind of like quite a dark navy colour, just to pull some more shadow, to give a bit more depth. I didn't really want black because it is quite harsh. But this is quite a nice colour, and as long as I keep my brush wet, I'll be able to pull it around enough that I can create some softness with those shadows. And you'll be surprised how dark you can actually go. I have, you know, there are lots of artists out there who are absolutely fantastic at faces. And if you look at their shadows, they are so dark. So I'm always a little bit scared of going too dark. I know that I could go darker, but you know, that's about as far as I wanted to go with it this time. So now I'm just going to add some colour onto the hair. I was checking there whether it had bled through the centre of the journal, and not really. It did a tiny bit by the time I'd finished, but that was okay. So I'm just using quite a wet brush to kind of pull these pigments around on the page, just to get that colour down. Then I'm using quite loose marks, just to create that movement in the hair, and going in with a much heavier application of the paint, so you can create a much more opaque colour if you don't water it down quite as much. Yeah, so this is, I just love doing this. I love doing hair like this and creating that feeling of movement. So now I'm going to create a background which is kind of all just brush marks, again just using the paints, and just letting the brush make the mark on the page, and I'm just seeing how these colours go on and how they work with each other. I love the vibrancy of these colours. I will be getting some more. It's kind of one of those things of like, now I've got some, I want more of them. But yeah, they are really lovely to play with. So that created quite a bold background. I'm then going to use the black layer cake and create my writing using my paintbrush. So this is a lovely round tip brush from Art by Marlene. It's perfect for doing this writing with, and keeping the paint quite thick and opaque means that my words are going to stand out nicely on my page. So I guess this page was a little bit less mixed media, and it was all about those layer cake paints and playing with them and seeing what they can do, and they are lots of fun, I can tell you. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. This is a bright, colourful page. This journal, I think, is going to end up being full of faces, of different ways of trying to create them, and an exploration of that, I think, at the minute. So thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the video, and I hope to see you again soon.